Hello and welcome to Debrief. Today we'll do a quick update on where we are with the tank. On the last video I told you guys that I was dealing with green hair algae and cyano. The dino was almost fully resolved, and I was dosing nitrates and phosphates to keep the levels up, but then I started to see cyano and green hair algae, and which was not a bad thing, and I kind of expected that to happen as I was dosing nitrates and phosphates. I then waited a couple of weeks, and then when the cyano didn't show signs of reducing, I used Chemiclean as directed. So this is about 60 gallons, and taking into account the rocks, and so the displacement for the rocks, and so I dosed about 4 spoons of Chemiclean, and followed the directions to turn off the UV, and to remove the skimmer cup, and I let it be for 48 hours, and then after 48 hours it worked. So I'm fully clean of cyano, and there's I think absolutely no trace. I'll probably add before and after pics to this video so you guys can appreciate the change, but it does work. And for a couple of things, one is when you do the Chemiclean, you should take into account that you have rocks and other equipment inside the sump, so don't dose exactly for how much water your tank can contain. So this is a Red Sea for 250. So, but I didn't dose for 250 liters. I dosed for less than that. So you should do the same. And when the skimmer cup overflows, which it will after 48 hours, you should do more than 20%. 20% is what they recommend as the water change, but I noticed that 20% was definitely not enough to remove the chemicals from the water. So I did almost the 40% water change, 35 to 40% water change, and my skimmer cup was overflowing even after that. So I changed up the carbon, which they also ask you to do, and raised the skimmer for a little bit and let it run overnight, which helped. And in the morning, the skimmer was normal. So it's just another tip if you want to take away anything from this experience. I got an MP40 from a fellow reefer. I know it's a bit of an overkill, but I could use it if I'm upgrading at any point. But it's great. So I'm running it at 40%, and I've got the gyre on one side pushing water. So I think I don't have any dead spots right now. All the detritus is always on the water column and gets pushed down to the sump very nicely. So that's a bit of an update on the flow. And on the lights, I do have a concern. Not really a concern, but I measured power, and this is the BLV Nepturion 20K lights, and I put this on the 4th of October. I was earlier using the Giesemann 250 watt 14K bulbs or 14.5K bulbs, and this is a lot more bluer, so I definitely like the color, but when I measured power, the power at this level, at the middle, which is actually where the first corals SPS sit, it's around 400. With the earlier bulb, the 14K bulbs, I was getting around 500 to almost 600 at that level. So the power has certainly dropped, which I should have expected, given that I was going from 14K to 20K. So as you go higher in the Kelvin, you do lose power. But I am also noticing, I think I'm noticing a bit of a slowdown in the growth, and I'm not sure whether I like that completely. Before with the 14K lights, the corals, the SPS growth was really taking off, and the color was not a big problem. So the SPS was coloring pretty well as well. So I think the 20K looks visually more appealing for me, but I don't think it's doing anything to the coral colors itself. So as you can notice, this Princess Peach SPS is almost stayed the same in terms of growth and coloration, and in the last 20 days or 18 days, right, since I put on this 20K bulb, and so have most of the others. There is a bit of, there is growth. It's not like there is zero growth, but there is growth, but it's a lot slower from what it was earlier. So I am debating whether to go back to using the 14.5K Giesemann halide. It is a lot more whiter, but one thing I'm not entirely certain is whether the additional red on the spectrum on those bulbs will lead to a resurgence of algae on my tank, which I certainly don't want. So right now this spectrum is a lot bluer, and I'll show you the spectrum from the Cyano power meter for this bulb, and I do have a refugium, an external refugium, which is running a lot whiter, right? So let me just switch it on. So it's running a lot whiter, and this has loads of red color on the spectrum. So I'm hoping, so I'm hoping all the algae growth will be contained in this refugium that I have. And if I change the bulbs from the 20K to the 14K, then it might happen that the display tank has more light in the red spectrum, which might trigger the growth of algae in the display instead of it happening in the refugium. As you can see in the refugium, I do have both Cheeto as well as green air algae growing. The Cheeto is tumbling nicely, so it does help a lot in keeping my nutrients in check. My phosphates are almost always close to zero. It's about 2 parts per billion, and the nitrates around 1. I test them daily. So yes, so that's what I'm debating. Should I change the lights, go with the 14K halide, but introduce the risk of algae growing in the tank, or should I leave it as is? and the growth might be a little slow. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, if you guys think I should change or not. And a couple of other things, new additions, is this red, the 8-line Red Sea wrasse. Right, it's a beautiful male, and I added it last week. I earlier had the Carpenter's wrasse, and when I added the Red Sea 8-line wrasse, the Carpenter's was chasing it down a lot, and I decided to rehome the Carpenters and keep the red line, the 8-line wrasse. So that's what I did. The 8-line is doing very well. So those are the updates for this tank. Everything else is doing well. The corals, the SPS is doing great, except for the growth. The colors are great. There's no RTN, STN happening. The parameters are exactly the same as last time. The alkalinity is at around 8.3, 8.4. Calcium is around 460. Magnesium 1320. Nitrates are at 1 ppm, and phosphates at 2 parts per billion. So yeah, those are all the updates. Thank you for watching till the end, and please like and subscribe. That will be of great help. Thank you.